Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm here to talk about Arrow episode 507 titled Vigilante, which premiered Wednesday, November 16, 2016 on the CW. And guys, this is episode 99 of the series. So with that said, just a few reminders, guys. I haven't read the comics, so any thoughts, theories, predictions, all that, I'm getting all these from what I see on the screen. I have no comic book references. I have no comic book knowledge to help me steer my thoughts or my predictions to a certain path. So any name that comes up, I won't know the significance to it that you might get if you read the comics. So just keep that in mind when you listen to my recap of the episode. Also, I only own my thoughts and theories about what I think is going to come, and these are genuine first impressions of the episode itself. Any photos used related to the TV show, I found them through Google. I don't own them. This video is not being made for money. It's just all for fun. It's a fun way to keep track of what those first impressions I had were, as well as any predictions that I state, just in case somewhere down the line they do pan out or not. It's always fun to see. So with that said, guys, let's start with the 10-minute clock and let's begin. So something new that we learned in this episode. So the main storyline of this episode was that this new vigilante is taking to the streets and killing criminals. Oliver wants to stop him. The recruits are kind of on the fence about this since he's kind of doing their job for them, but eventually they do agree with Oliver that this vigilante needs to be stopped, considering he doesn't really care about collateral damage. Anyways, the vigilante, calling himself Vigilante, escapes when Oliver is just about to unmask him. Apparently there's like this timed explosion on his suit to kind of blast away anyone who tries to unmask him, which is clever, but it gives him enough of time to escape as the other person is knocked out. Also, there was a reference line of faster than a speeding bullet. I'm pretty sure that was used, and when that was mentioned, I immediately thought of the Flash, maybe him intervening in some way, shape, or form. Never happened though, but it was wishful thinking on that part. A side story, guys, let's go to that now, is that Lance confides in Thea about his blackouts from drinking and about him thinking he's being framed into thinking he's Prometheus, thinking he thinks Prometheus is messing with Lance and trying to make it look like his blackouts are leading him to do the actions of Prometheus. Because of this, Thea convinces Lance to go to rehab for his drinking. And after that, Thea goes to Oliver to explain the situation, only for them to realize that Prometheus knows that Oliver is the Green Arrow. Otherwise, why would Prometheus target Lance and try to make him believe that he is Prometheus himself? So is that. I definitely like that outcome a lot better than the writers trying to spin off the fact that mind controlling drug takes over while Lance blacks out and has him be Prometheus. So there's that. Anyways, flashbacks. We see Kovar torturing Oliver for answers. We also learn that Kovar has Tayana's mother working for him ever since she came to him about her children, Tayana and Vlad, disappearing. And it seems like he might have a soft spot for her, which is kind of a little unnerving. But also, Kovar repeatedly keeps telling Oliver that the truth is all about perspective. So Kovar's truth is definitely going to be different version of Oliver's truth, or the truth that he learned from Tayana. So that's always been a key for a repeated phrase in the flashback, the fact that truth is all about perspective. Tidbits that didn't really fit with a specific storyline, or anyways, we see a new trick arrow in Oliver's quiver, and that was the bulletproof mesh. He shot it at a window, it spanned across the window and allowed for a cover for bullets. So that was pretty cool. I really like that little invention. Definitely comes in handy for sure. Also, we see Curtis telling Oliver to call him Mr. Terrific. I think this is the first time he's officially taken the name, because I think beforehand it was kind of like him contemplating whether or not he should call himself Mr. Terrific after an idol of his, or whether he was testing out different names. But I think this is the first time I've heard him tell Oliver to call him Mr. Terrific instead of calling him Curtis. It may or may not have been mentioned between the other recruits, but I think that's this episode's where it stuck out to me the most. Also, we get John Diggle Jr. celebrating his second birthday. Diggle is aggravated over the fact that he misses the initial party because of the fact he's a fugitive, but Renee manages to contact Lila, and they were able to orchestrate a little mini party for Diggle to be a part of, so that he can celebrate his son's second birthday with his family back at his new hive home, I guess you could say. So I thought that was pretty sweet. But moving on, most shocking moment of the episode guide was the fact that the end of the episode shows Evelyn on a rooftop talking to Prometheus. So she is secretly working with this guy, and her line was to Prometheus that they don't suspect a thing. So now I'm freaking out over her double cross, because it's just like, I didn't see it coming for sure. Hence the most shocking moment. Moving on, guys, the top 3 favorite moments. First one has to be the fact that the undercover work. I really love seeing Team Arrow going undercover as the bank robbers. I thought that was pretty funny. It was also funny to see Felicity actually in the field. She's not in the field often, so whenever she is and she's going full in on it, it's always amusing. And it was just fun to see Diggle and Felicity taking their roles seriously and making it convincible, while the recruits are asking, well, why are you going to this so much extent? We're here. That should be enough. It's like the original members are like, no, we got to make it believable, and they're going all out on it. So I thought that was pretty funny. Another favorite moment for me has to be the fact that Lance confided in Thea about not only about the whole Prometheus discovery, but also about his drinking, and then agreeing to go to rehab, and then just having that support system between them, especially coming from Thea to Lance, and trying to get him to understand that he needs to go to rehab to get back on his feet. Brings up Laurel and how he hasn't fully gotten over that blow. It's like he's kind of stuck in that loop of grief. But I just really liked the connection between the two of them, the solid support that they were each getting, especially when they both told each other that they brought up who their lost family members and what they would think of them. So Thea saying that Laurel will be concerned over Lance and his drinking and him wanting to get help. And then also Lance telling Thea that her mother would have been proud of who she has become and the strength that she's developed over the last few years with the loss that she's experienced. So it's just great to see the connection between the two of them. And I hope I hope Lance isn't gone for long. But moving on to the last favorite moment I had is definitely the fact that Diggle got to spend his son's birthday with him. It was just to see that smile on his face and get that excitement, just to see him interacting with his son. It's the first time we actually get to see it, because as we know beforehand, Diggle had a daughter, but since Flashpoint occurred, he now has a son. So it was just great to see firsthand how that interaction was. It was just so sweet as well, as I mentioned. Moving on though to top 3 peeve moments. Looking at it now, I didn't even mention it in the something that we learned, and it's the fact that Oliver confided in Susan Williams about his troubles, and then he goes on that drink date with her. It's just like, no, I want you to stay far away from her. She's just going to sink her claws in it, and then she's going to expose it all to the public because she's a reporter first, and then it's going to screw Oliver over. It's just like, no. You could have picked any other woman in the city. You had to pick the one who's gunning for you in the spotlight. It's just, no. I feel like it's Isabel Roshev all over again. No. So, yeah, that's why I don't like it. But that's the only thing I had an issue with, though. So let's move on to what will I remember most. It's the fact that rogue vigilante, named Vigilante, got away. He's actually on the loose. But I do have a theory about him, so we'll get back to that in a moment. But random questions very quickly. First one is, so who do we believe? Do we believe Kovar in stating that the Bratva is using Oliver? Or are we going to believe the Bratva in that they actually welcomed Oliver into their group and are helping him get to Kovar? Because Kovar's repeated statement about truth being all about perception has me really wondering, well, who's in the right? Who do we believe? Who do we side with? So there's that. Next question. What is Evelyn's purpose with Prometheus? How much in the loop is she on his plan? And how exactly did he get to her to corrupt her? Was it before or after she was recruited into Team Arrow? Now I'm very suspicious of her. I don't like being suspicious of her. So that's the questions there. Last question. Did Prometheus hope to frame Lance in order to get to Oliver? Or was that just a bonus in messing with his head? So there's that. Moving on, though, to predictions very quickly, you guys. The promo for 508 was not released, but because of the fact that it is the crossover event. So the episode returns November 30th, so 1 week of a break for the American Thanksgiving, and then it's back with the crossover event. 508 is part 2 of the 3-part crossover. It is also the 100th episode of the Arrow season. So because it's the crossover event, the actual promo for 508 won't be released until after part 1 has been released. But the crossover event promo shows aliens attacking all the superheroes assembling to deal with it. So there's that. They did release the synopsis, though, for 508, and it reads that Arrow celebrates 100 episodes, the epic superhero crossover continues, and that Oliver wakes up to life where he never got on the Queen's Gambit. Robert and Moira Queen are alive and well. Laurel is his loving fiancé, and their wedding is imminent. Everything seems perfect, but Oliver starts to notice small imperfections that make him question this new reality. Meanwhile, Felicity and the recruits take on a new threat with help from the Flash and Supergirl. So, based off of that, I did see a few promotional photos about the episode, and we do see Laurel in a wedding dress. We do see Sarah helping Laurel get dressed. We do see Thea and Moira together. We do see Robert in the background of the wedding. We do see Ray and Felicity together. It looked like they were dressed up as if they were at the wedding, so it looks like they might be a couple together. So, and then it also looks like there's quite a strong stance with Oliver, Diggle, Sarah, Ray, and Thea, possibly. Kind of like in this alternate world, they kind of know that they can take a stance, but they don't know why they would take a stance type thing. And then it seems like Ray needs kind of some help to walk. Those are the only things that were released for the episode, because like I said, as part 2, they're not going to release the promo before part 1 airs without a huge spoiler alert. So there's that. But new questions, though, based off of everything. Now, I predict that D.A. Adrian Chase is this new Vigilante character. I mean, the one reason why I think that is because his reaction during that interrogation was very strong. And then him showing up at the motel after he got a location from the interrogation, and he showed up as the Vigilante are my clues as to how he could be that. Plus, also, Adrian made a comment about him being in hell. It's kind of like situations like one of those comments he makes, like, well, I've been to hell. And it's kind of like those one-off comments where you think he's joking, but his expression is like, no, he's not joking. So I think that's my prediction. Adrian Chase, the new district attorney, is this new Vigilante. So there's that. So questions, though, does Evelyn know who Prometheus is, or does she just follow the man in the hood? Also, man, I freeze for a second. I thought I was thinking of another question. But anyways, next prediction or question. The Oliver and Susan Williams, I really think they're going to start hooking up until he feels betrayed over her investigative digging about him in Russia. And I already hate that plot already. It's starting to look like that because I really don't think they're just going to be just friends, even though she claims that she can just be his friend. She definitely has all this flirtation towards him, so I don't think she's just going to stop it at being his friend or a soundboard, or she's going to use that opportunity to dig up information to expose him later on. I don't like it at all, but it's kind of looking towards that. So there's that. And also, how long until we see Quentin Lance back from rehab? Hope it's not that long. I really hope that he's part of the 100th episode outside of the flashback, or outside of this other world, considering that Laurel's getting married. So there's that. And that's about it. So what do you guys think of the episode? What do you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about it, as well as your own thoughts, theories, and predictions. If you want, check on my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, GIFs, synopses, all of that stuff. Follow me there if you want to keep up to date with what I read blog on that. Also, you can check out my WordPress account. A link for that is also attached to my Tumblr, as well as down below in the description box. It's a work in progress, I'll give you that. But if you want to follow me there, go right ahead. And that's about it, guys. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you come back next week to hear what I have to say about the next episode. Not next week, in 2 weeks. And this one's going to be a lot different. I am going to do one video that covers all 3 parts of the crossover event. Kind of makes it easier. So be on the lookout for that video. But until then, guys, this is Mel, wishing you a great day, great week wherever you are. Bye for now.